Hello, I'm Bruce Lorenz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose. I talk to people in city government, the school system, and various community agencies and organizations. Kim Johnson's with us today, Food Rescue US, and Kim, thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Could you tell us what Food Rescue US is?
Sure. So we're a national organization that is charged with reducing food waste across the United States, and also helping to provide access to food with those community groups that may be facing food insecurity. So it's two critical crises within the United States that we're kind of hand in hand and charged with in our mission.
You know, it seems like decades before we never worried about food waste. It just happened, and so much food was thrown away and wasted. Now with COVID and certainly other situations, we now really pay close attention to waste, don't we?
Yeah, 40% of the total food supply is actually wasted.
Oh my!
When you think about,
I never thought it'd be anywhere. I thought maybe 5% at the most.
No, 40%. It's crazy. And then when you think about, 34 million people face food insecurity, it just doesn't add up. So, what can we do to kind of help reduce that food waste and provide it to those people that need it?
How did you first get involved in food rescue?
So over the years, I've been a very active volunteer here in Wadsworth at Meals on Wheels, working there, as well as within the Akron Food Bank. Just really, tried a lot around serving people and providing them nutritious food. So many people don't have that luxury. So about a year ago, wanted to do more. Happened to stumble upon Food Rescue US. Again, they're a national organization. We didn't have anything like that here locally. So I'm a Wadsworth resident, started up kind of this site here within Wadsworth, and now we've grown across to Medina County, Summit County, and even portions of Portage County. So there's obviously an opportunity and a need for that food to be rescued. Been overwhelmed by the excitement, that our volunteers and enthusiasm that they kind of put into helping to, do this mission.
How does it make you feel getting involved in this for really quite a few years, and now really on the front edge of making a difference?
Yeah, it's extremely rewarding, and that's one of the things even our volunteers say. They can't believe how easy it is. This is transferring food that otherwise would have gone to waste. When they talk to the food donors as well as the receiving agencies, they are getting that immediate gratification as well. Food donors sometimes I'm finding don't even know what to do. They're throwing this food away because they don't have a solution. That's where we can kind of step in and say, hey, we'll make it easy for you. We'll come on your schedule, we'll pick it up. There's nothing else you need to do. So it's no extra work, no staff that you've got to arrange, schedules for. We'll take care of everything for you. And obviously the receiving agencies are very grateful because, they're always wanting more food.
Can you describe the agencies you work with? I'm sure, as you say, it seems to be growing as time goes on.
Yeah, so there's a wide range of agencies we help provide food for, and it's a very diverse group. Again, really, there's so many individuals that need food. So it ranges from food pantries to senior centers, anybody like in sober living facilities, homeless shelters, kind of the gamut. If there's an agency that's helping feeding the food insecure, we'll help provide food to them.
Yeah, we recently did a show on the Medina County shelter, and they've bought a new facility and renovating it, and a lot of people really need those facilities.
Yeah, they're one of the recipients that we do deliver food to, so it's a great way to help even just a new agency like themselves, they're doing a lot of great work.
So the people you serve, are they very they enjoy it, and they really give credit to your organization to give maybe a leg up and getting back on their path?
Yeah, the agencies, again, they're always grateful for more food. So we distribute specifically to those agencies that do hand out the food themselves. So they're constantly being faced with, tighter budgets, more people wanting food. So any additional food that we can bring them, they're ecstatic.
Is food waste a real problem in not only our state but in our nation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier 40% total, right. 30% at the retail and consumer level. So actually this past weekend I was at the Earth Day Festival in Medina County. And educating people just even at a consumer level of things that we can do to reduce the food waste that we have in our everyday homes. So one of the top reasons about that challenge with food waste is date labels on food. A lot of confusion around what those date labels mean. Sell by dates, use by dates, best by dates. Those don't necessarily mean when the food is good, and when you can eat it. Oftentimes, those are quality dates that are set by the manufacturers that tell you when that item might taste the best, right? According to their, scientific, research and stuff. But it doesn't mean that it's bad. So it could be past that date and still be perfectly good. So that's one of the things that, we can just do on an everyday basis as consumers, is to really understand, this carton of eggs, for instance, and that was the example I used, it's not that use by date says maybe May 1st. You can still use it past that day. Typically, they say 3 to 5 weeks after that date. So the best thing people can do is to, look at the food. Do you see any visible signs of, spoilage, smell it, milk, exactly when milk's gone bad. So, try to be creative with the ways that you're cooking so you're using up things, as quickly and as possible. So, definitely things that we can do just even on a consumer level as well.
So you're telling our viewing audience that if milk is May 1
mm-hmm.
gallon of milk, that's not necessarily when it goes bad. I mean, you can maybe mm-hmm. Use some of it and most of it maybe even a week after.
Correct. That is correct. That's an item that we will sometimes pick up from food donors. They don't want to sell that item past that date, so they will then donate the item, and then we can take that item that again is still perfectly good to a food pantry, to one of these receiving agencies we work with that could then use it before those dates. So
why did we get in the habit of what started that situation where we labeled when, let's say, milk or some other item goes bad, but yet it's still good?
Yeah, there's a lot of work being done in trying to clarify that, and I definitely think that's something that's needed just to kind of reset everyone on.
Does food rescue deal with climate change?
Yeah, so food waste, food that goes to the landfill, that doesn't get used, creates carbon monoxide and methane gases that, then lead to climate change. So that's where we're trying to reduce those things. Food waste reduction is one of the top things that we can do to help kind of prevent the progression of climate change.
Do you get calls, during the week that say, hey, there's a new business or a company that's maybe renovated a grocery store or something and said, hey, could we be involved in your program?
Yeah, so food donors are able to kind of give me, a notification that they maybe have a one-time donation, or they have something that's reoccurring, that they know that bread always expires, at the end of the day, and we'll come pick up, the next morning kind of thing. But one-time items, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, seasonal food, maybe there's a menu change that you're no longer offering a particular item, or you misordered, something that you couldn't use. We've seen a lot of that. Things happen, right? Mistakes happen, and we appreciate the donors that realize, rather than just throwing this away, we can donate it.
It sounds like with restaurants and stores contacting you, it sounds like you could use some volunteers. Could you tell us about maybe someone watching the show would be a possible volunteer?
Sure. Yeah, we would love to continue to grow with more donors, more volunteers,
Right.
because that's
Sure.
the more we can help people. So if you're interested in volunteering, go to our website, which is Food Rescue US. On the top left of the page, you'll see a button there that says Become a Volunteer. You just sign up for that, and it gets you get created in the system, and then you can see on our website access to our schedule, our weekly schedule. You can see out for 3 months and see what rescues are available, and say, okay, I have a little bit of time, next week, what kind of rescues are in my area that I might be able to help with. It's a very quick and easy, rewarding process that people find they can easily do.
It doesn't sound like you're committing, putting your name down and you'll be
No.
used every day for a couple weeks, but you can pick and choose. If something's close and you want to try it out and see how it works, then you can do that.
Yeah, that's the greatest thing. Found there's just so much flexibility, right? Because oftentimes I'll schedule the food rescues themselves within a time window. So typically I like to do about 2 hours. So you could kind of weave it in between, like you're out already doing some errands and you're like, okay, I'll do the food rescue somewhere within that time once I get done with everything else. Well, you don't always know exactly. I can't show up exactly at maybe 11 o'clock.
Right.
Okay. But you can kind of do it flexible within that time frame, as well as you might be able to do it, once a month, once every 3 months. There's no commitment to how often you do it. I do find that volunteers, once they do it once, they start signing up more and more. So they have really, really enjoyed it.
And it's really, again, they get the feeling of helping other people and really helping the establishments, the restaurants, the stores, because that doesn't go to landfill and go to waste. No question about it. What about talking about Medina County and maybe Wadsworth and Medina and Brunswick? What are some agencies and some stores or businesses you work with within those 3 major cities?
Sure. Again, wide range of donors, for instance. So we work with both national brands as well as some local companies. So those range from Get Go to Panera to Jersey Mike's, and then some local chains that maybe like Book's Barbecue here in Wadsworth, Tilted Farmer in Seville. So kind of a wide range of different donors.
And what is their reaction when your people come and collect those items? Are they pleased and happy to get those items off their premises?
Yeah, they're happy because it's going to good use, right? So oftentimes people don't realize there's an option. You know what I mean? They're throwing these items away every single day. And when I approach them and say, we can do something different, and we can help you, save that, they're like, oh, that would be fantastic. There's, you know what I mean? That's, that's a great feeling for them, is they know that it's going to good use.
Are there any groups in Wadsworth, in particular, maybe church groups or other individuals that have helped you?
Sure. So yeah, the receiving agencies that we provide the food to are a wide range here in Wadsworth. So going back to Salvation Army, the Suprema Senior Center, there's several different sober living facilities, different food pantries, a wide range in Wadsworth. So there's a lot of people try to spread some of the benefit around.
Yeah, it really does help people, especially, we just have, well, I guess we're still technically in the pandemic, and people have had real issues getting to stores, and it seems like lately the prices of items in stores have really escalated. Do you get that impression?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, there's more people struggling, so there's definitely more people that those agencies are helping, so we're just glad we can help them.
So food insecurity in the county is not going down. It's still a constant issue. And are the commissioners and some governments helping in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I don't. I think the latest number I have was from 2022, is around 8 or 9% food insecurity. So definitely trending. Just based off of feedback that we're hearing from the agencies, that number doesn't seem to be decreasing.
Right. How would our viewing audience get involved? How can they help? Could they maybe say something to their restaurant or store that they go to and say, "Hey, what are you doing with the items, the food that you don't use?"
Yeah, that's a wonderful idea. You know what I mean? We love when our volunteers kind of spread the word about Food Rescue US and ask that question. Oftentimes, again, the donors just don't know what to do with it, so it's helpful to start that conversation with them and mention if they don't have a solution, referring them to us. So definitely an easy thing that everyone can do.
Seems like a win-win. You're helping the environment. You're not throwing food away. It's being used, and describe some of the food that it is donating. I mean, it is top of the line items.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wide range. I mean, we see everything from bread to milk, produce items, prepared meals, grab and go items, just a wide variety of meals. So.
Can we get young people involved? Do they, sometimes some schools have hours, that they have community hours, maybe 20, 25 hours during the year that they have to maintain.
Yep.
Could young people, is there an age difference where you won't accept people 16 to help you?
No, I mean, there's really no age, minimum or maximum of our volunteers. So I have volunteers that bring their children along in the car because, again, this is an easy way for them to teach, kids about volunteering and giving back, and it's an easy thing for them to do and see within a short time frame as well with other commitments. The other example I have is a woman that volunteers, and she brings her elderly mother along in the car because that's something they can do together. So wide range of things that people can do. We have college students, that's actually one right now is interning with us, high school students that's also doing like a program for school based on their experience with food rescue. So wide range of people. There's no boundaries of who can help.
There could be college students getting into psychology or helping people in hospitals. Extension. It's really a learning experience for them. And it seems though everyone thinks Medina County is a very wealthy, very prestigious county, and Summit County certainly too. But there's a lot of need. Tell us about the need in Medina and Summit counties.
Yeah, I mean, just you mentioned earlier the homeless shelter, right? I mean,
Right.
there's a great example of the need, right? That's a newly created agency, that saw the need and is helping. So just a wide range of people that. Again, food prices are rising. It's impacting everyone, and living to paycheck, oftentimes food is hard to get. So any help that they can get is appreciated.
Kim, you're assuming that someone has a job. Some there's
Sure.
been layoffs,
Yeah.
and there's been some cutbacks in our economy, especially sometimes in banking and some other areas. So those people are facing some major issues and dilemmas in their life.
Yeah, so you can imagine, when they don't have to worry about, food, at least for the day, how helpful that is.
Yeah, and what about the summer? Are the seasons a little different? Do with the farming able to have crops and everything? Does it help that summer is right around the corner and we have growing season
Yeah, I would love to, that's something we didn't really tap much into last year was, farm businesses that had excess items. So would love to kind of connect with them. We're a 365 organization, so our volunteers on Christmas, on Easter, Memorial Day, they go out and they're rescuing food. A lot of these food donors that we work with may not necessarily close, right? Gas stations are open 365. We will continue to rescue those on those days. So year round, if there is food available, we definitely are able to rescue that.
Who would you say your biggest helpers are? Is it the gas stations or restaurants, or you said they could do it one time and then delay and maybe call you and say, hey, we have some other things for you? Is it kind of day by day?
Yeah.
You're probably juggling things and hoping that you get calls from various places.
Yeah, it varies. One of our biggest donors is the Get Go here in Wadsworth. Okay. They donate 4 days a week.
Wow.
Because we can pick up so much, and that way it ensures the freshness that is just then distributed as close as possible to those quality dates I mentioned earlier. So huge donor, hugely successful. I think we're about a year underway and over 4,000 pounds just from that one location. So
wow.
As you can imagine, huge impact that makes to those agencies.
So you keep tabs on individual donors, businesses and corporations, and again, it probably surprises some of your volunteers if you talk to them and how much that business is donated.
Yeah, some of the volunteers just get just shocked, right? You know what I mean? They go and pick up and they have a trunk load of bread, for instance. They're like, oh my God, this would have gotten thrown away. And I said, yes, it's so important. So we do, try to understand what our estimated weights are, just to help provide some idea of impact. Coming up on a year, and we're very close to reaching our goal of 25,000 pounds for the first year, which is huge. So definitely have even higher goals for next year. So want to continue to kind of grow and maintain those relationships with food donors and receiving agencies, so we can just help reduce more food waste.
Do you want to go ahead? There's your camera right there. Talk about you needing volunteers.
Yeah, would love for more people to sign up. More people that we have, the more we can do. There's food rescues available 7 days a week. So you can just check it out by signing up. Once you sign up, I send you an email with all the information on how to do the process. It's very easy, like I mentioned, and any questions, I'm here to help.
Sometimes summer is real difficult. People go on vacation, although they may not stay for a long duration, but a week or two, then you have to have other people step in their role, correct?
Yeah. Saw that even just over the winter, right?
Yeah,
we had
right.
some,
snowbirds
that went down to Florida and came back, and that's the flexibility, right? So you claim a rescue if an appointment comes up or something doesn't work out. I just ask that you release it maybe 24 hours in advance, so it gives somebody else the opportunity to rescue that, so that food doesn't go wasted.
So how do the volunteers, is there a number they call, or how do they know where to go to get their items?
Yeah, so once they sign up on that website and they see the schedule, all on the schedule, they can see the details. So it gives you contact information for the food donor, for the receiving agency, gives you addresses, and any kind of pickup instructions. So I try to be as specific as possible, which door to go into, who to ask, if there's a cart available, if you need assistance, so it's very easy. There's all the information, and if they ever have questions, they just contact me.
I'm sure after the first time or first couple times, it becomes pretty easy, and they may go to various locations and get to know people and thank them for their donation and help people out. It has to make the drivers and the delivery people feel very good about themselves.
Yes, it does. And I even have people that say they always want to do a certain, rescue. So they will actually adopt the rescue. I have an individual that, for personal reasons, does a rescue always within one of the sober living houses.
Right.
So, it's great to see that as a way to give back, to something that's important to you. So.
Kim, did you bring your crystal ball with you? What does the future look like? What over the summer and into the fall and winter, do you see your number of restaurants and businesses growing and the volunteers keeping pace?
Yeah, I've been astonished, not knowing what this was going to turn into a year ago, and have been really surprised by how many people are so enthusiastic about it. I'm just trying to help coordinate it all, right? So the more that we can do, the more impact, each of these partners, can provide. So
is there anything that you don't sleep very well at night, have nightmares, pulling your hair out that something has happened? The county officials, I'm sure, have been very cooperative and helping and nurturing your venture.
Yeah, no, really, I trust now. I've learned, that, if something pops up, you know what I mean? Like, it all takes care of itself. You know what I mean? These volunteers are so generous with their time and willing to give up things. So again, if things come up and somebody can't do something, I can, call on somebody else last minute and they're willing to do it. So it all balances out. It's great.
Kim Johnson, thank you very much. I learned a great deal about your program, and again, you could use some more volunteers in the Wadsworth and Medina County area, and if people watch this, they can call you and sign up, try it out, and see if they like it, and go from there. This has been Bruce on the Loose, and we've talked to Kim Johnson, Food Rescue US, and she does a wonderful job helping out and helping the restaurants and businesses get rid of their waste. Thank you for viewing, and we will see you next week with a new show.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.